Hi, I'm JT.
Hey, I'm Rohana, and welcome to the Movie Club.
Today we're talking about Kevin Can Fuck Himself, created by Valerie Armstrong.
Crap! Mother F!
My God. Just swear. F is so much worse.
Just a word of warning, there is a language warning here in case you haven't noticed.
Yeah, we've censored ourselves less already than the TV show does in every title treatment. Now, Kevin Can Fuck Himself is a hard to classify, really, in terms of genre. Rohana, what do you think you would classify this show as?
It's really difficult. On the one hand, you've got all the drama elements, but on the other hand, there's definitely, I wouldn't say satire, but an introspection and almost a meta feel to the entire thing.
Whoa, Miss Hercules over here.
Is that blood? It doesn't mean you get to be moody. You already used that excuse once this month.
But to take a step back, the show stars Annie Murphy, who you might know from Schitt's Creek, and also a bunch of other actors who you may be less familiar with. But they play their roles relatively well, particularly Eric Peterson, who plays the titular Kevin, who is one of the least likeable characters I think I have seen on TV in living memory.
He does such an excellent job of, at the same time, being this hapless buffoon, almost Homer-like from The Simpsons, but at the same time, someone you deeply want to fundamentally stab in the face, right, JT?
Oh, absolutely. From the end of the first episode, where Alison, the lead character, realizes that she has married a buffoon who has wasted all of her money and decides that she is going to take some kind of action. It is a really sort of deep look into the negative sides of, I think, what sitcoms take as normality.
Absolutely. I mean, just to explain a little bit about the plot, Kevin Can Fuck Himself follows the mother figure in most of these like bumbling buffoon sitcom types, right? I mean, you think King of Queens, you think even Homer Simpson. I believe Matt LeBlanc tried to resuscitate his career at some point by being in something like this. And it talks about the inherent abuse that a lot of female characters in sitcoms put up with just because they're catering to this relative man-child for the laughs.
Yeah, that's it. And it's interesting that as the series goes along, you realise that even though Alison is the protagonist of the story, she herself is not necessarily a good person. I mean, she takes advantage of her new best friend, Patty, in increasingly sort of heinous ways.
She wasted the life on this terrible marriage. The money's gone. Kevin drained the account.
You ever think about maybe trying to have just a little bit of fun?
What makes this show such a difficult watch. I mean, Murphy is absolutely brilliant. If you've seen her in Schitt's Creek, you're used to this ditzy blonde who doesn't really know what's going on most of the time. Here, she's someone completely different. I mean, even her accent, and I absolutely hate accents when it's on most American television shows. She just disappears into the role. On the one hand, you really feel for her predicament, but on the other hand, you're just screaming at the screen, telling her to leave this idiot, to stop overcomplicating things, and to just get out of this abusive relationship, if not just for herself, but also for her friend Patty.
Kevin's my husband.
Yeah, babe, can you go see if my package is here yet?
Can't you do it?
I'm in the middle of something.
Then one day, she realizes what she wants.
Yeah, that's it. It is a frustrating show in many ways, as you say, because she does seem to lack the impetus to actually walk away from what is clearly an abusive and unsuccessful relationship. It's interesting from the title to the lead character and that sort of thing. When I was watching it, it felt like it was a direct shot at Kevin James. The title is a reference to a series that he made in 2016 called Kevin Can Wait. And in the second season of that, his wife was written out just on a whim. So, lead female character written out of the show. So essentially this whole show seems to have been written as a response and a fuck you to Kevin James.
I am sorry. So, look, I'll make it up to you. Name it. What is it?
Strip.
What?
That's right, a little strip tease. Offy closey.
The way that it's shot especially, it takes a shot at nearly all of those types of sitcoms. I mean, the really lazy writing, the hacky 90s laugh track, the super bright colors, the stylistic choices in the series are jarring, but then they're meant to be.
Yeah, it's amazing how much of a role lighting plays when Alison walks out of the room with Kevin. As we said, the lighting changes, the framing of the shots change. And, you know, I think even the sort of the makeup and hair choices change. I mean, I'm not entirely sure whether she goes through a sort of a de-glamorization between those scenes or if it is purely due to the way it's shot. But it does really sort of depict well how her mental state is, you know, when she's outside of his influence.
Kevin and Allison, together forever!
I'm just so tired. The world revolves around him. And if it doesn't, he just blows it to hell. It has to stop.
Can't stop greatness.
I think the most enjoyable part of the series is as it goes along, the delineation between the Kevin parts or the wacky, hijinky parts and the trauma that she's going through starts to melt into each other. I know one of the criticisms I had for the series is it almost seemed like it was trying to take this fluffy 90s sitcom and turn it into Breaking Bad, but that could be the intention. And at the end of the series, you're sort of waiting to see where it goes from there. I mean, are we going to go full-blown Breaking Bad with all those sort of gritty lighting and like ridiculous storylines? Or is it going to turn into something else entirely? Because this show feels like the type of show that isn't afraid to take those risks and to play around with that sort of drama.
I will say one thing about this, and it probably is just an Australian perspective. Every time I say the title, I think it's missing the word go. Because as it is, to my ears, it just sounds like he's bragging about some kind of weird bending he can do. But, you know, Kevin can go fuck himself really rolls off the tongue a lot better just from my
It really, really does. Maybe that's second season fodder. I mean, or when they do the Australian version of it, because I'm sure we've got a couple of sitcoms that deserve this sort of treatment, right?
Oh, God, I can see Peter Hellier in the lead role already. Yeah.
Oh, no, don't do that to me. All right, this is canon now. We need to make it happen. Well, hopefully the series is successful enough in its second season to, you know, warrant a point in the first place, but I'm really looking forward to it.
So yeah, this is somewhat of an unusual show, a mix of comedy and drama in ways that really haven't been done before, but if you're open to something new, check it out. Kevin Can Fuck Himself is now showing on Prime Video.
Yes, 10 out of 10 for me, if only because of how frustratingly accurate to a real-life abusive relationship it is. I think the whole time I was sitting there, it was like watching my best friend just go back to the same jerk, and I'm like, just leave him, Allison, just go away. Definitely check it out.
Anyway, we've been The Movie Club. I'm JT.
I'm Rohana. Thanks so much for joining us, and take care.
We'll see you next week.